Hello, everyone. When I was your age, I had all kinds of plans for my life. I wanted to be a fighter pilot at one point. Then I thought about working with animals and maybe even becoming a veterinarian. Later on, I started thinking about going into medicine and possibly becoming an orthopedic doctor. And just like a lot of you, I had ideas, I had goals, I had thought I knew where I was headed. But when I was 14 years old, something changed. I felt God calling me into ministry. I didn't know what that meant. I didn't have a clear job title or step-by-step plan. I just knew I needed to be willing and open. So I followed that. I went to Beulah Heights University and studied for ministry. After I graduated, I became a student pastor. And I thought, this is it. This is what God has for me. But over time, something didn't feel right. At first, I thought maybe it was the churches I was at, so I moved around a bit, trying to figure it out. But the more I went through it, the more I realized the issue wasn't where I was. It was that God was doing something new in me. Then came a moment that changed everything. I felt like God was telling me to get my boys back into Christian school. And as I started taking steps toward that, it became very clear. He wasn't just calling them into that environment. He was calling me too. And I remember thinking, God, are you serious? I was homeschooled for 12 years. I went to school to be for biblical education, not a teacher. But God had a different plan. At 36 years old, I stepped into teaching. And I can honestly say that's exactly where God wanted me all along. I've now been teaching for 11 years, and I'm working on my master's in education. Not because it was my original plan, but because it was His. So if I could leave you with anything, it would be this. Be humble, be willing, be moldable, and listen. Because God's direction doesn't always come all at once. Sometimes it takes years. Sometimes it looks like nothing like you would have expected. But He knows exactly where He's taking you. And if you trust Him, He'll get you there in His time. Have a good one.